Other thing I can tell you about connected with my father is that my father was devoted to S.T. Burman, Madan Mohan, and he got the opportunity to interact with him musically as an apprentice in 2 films, Do Bhai and Munim Ji, which were being produced by Filmistan, where my grandfather was a partner. And by default, my father, who had no work at that time, was hanging around the studio. So he would go into the audio studio, and Burman Dada saw some spark in him and said, "Beto," and he would watch him work. And he would tell him that he would go a long way later in life. So I remember my father would always hold that in great, when somebody you worship so much praises you and you feel, okay, I have a spark. And so he was actually encouraged to become director by Burman Dada. Otherwise, he didn't know what he was doing. He wanted to act. He was sent to the army. He ran away from the army. I'm talking about Madan Mohan, which is not the topic of discussion. And he went to All India Radio to do work, etc., etc. But he came back, and it was always Burman Dada who would give him the confidence. There was a movie called Heer Ranjha, which came in 1970 with Madan Mohan's music, completely Punjab based, etc. So I remember this vividly in my personal memory, that the year was 1970. I was 13 years old. And one morning at 7:30, our bell rang, 4 times. We used to stay in Peddar Road in a flat. And the servant hadn't yet kind of surfaced. Everybody was sleeping. I went and opened the door. Or was I getting ready for school? I can't remember. And who do I see but this statuesque, wonderful Burman Dada standing there? This was after the Burman Dada night that I told you about. So of course by then I had seen the magic, we worshipped him. And we were taught to worship him, even if we didn't understand. And then he was not a very hello beta, kaisa ho and all types of person at all. Very cut and dry, as we used to call him. Everybody says that. So he just says to me, Modan kidhar hai? Because the Bengali Rasgulla effect. So I said, Madan ji so rahe hain. Acha, mat jagao. Tum bolo hum aaya. Sirf bolne ko ki Heer Ranjha ka music bahut acha hai. And he just turned and went away. He drove his car from the jet all the way to Peddar Road just to congratulate his junior. That was the magic of that era. Now, this is about him, the person, also the kind of relationships that they had. There was no jealousy. There wasn't any animosity. No, they loved each other's work.
Always.
Always.
This we are aware. Thanks a lot.
Not at all.